Hi everybody, this is Bobby with bobbystamps.blogspot.com, and I'm going to show you how I made this very cute Christmas card. I love this card. I love the colors, I love the kind of monochromatic feel that it has to it, and it's kind of like not your ordinary Christmas card, you know, there's no red, gold, green, anything like that. I actually had a card class today at a local coffee shop, and this was one of the cards that I designed for them to make. So we will go ahead and get started. The cutouts that we used for the corner with the vines is from the Christmas Pines. And then we're also using the sentiment, May Your Christmas Sparkle with Joy and Happiness. And then we're using the Merry Medley stamp. I passed this up the first time in the catalog. I just was kind of like, I like it, but I'm not going to get it. And then I started seeing so many beautiful cards made with it that I had to go back and get it. So we're going to use that. I'm going to use the fine tip glue pen to put everything together. We're going to use our embossing buddy. We're going to use Versamark silver embossing powder. Then I cut out a piece of the silver foil paper, and then a piece of Whisper white cardstock, and that's what we're going to use the sentiment on. So this is the layering circles that I cut those out from, and I used these two circles to do that. And then we're going to stamp the image on Tempting Turquoise, and then our card base is I'm using the thick Whisper white cardstock. So we'll go ahead and get that out of the way, and then we'll go ahead and get started. It doesn't take very long at all to do this card. I'm going to grab my piercing mat over here. So we'll just take the Versamark, move back over here, make sure you guys can see. Take the Versamark and you're just going to ink it up. You're going to make sure that you have it very well inked. You don't want to miss any spots when you're doing that. So just make sure you're getting the edges, because this is going to cover your whole piece of Tempting Turquoise. And that piece is cut at 4 by 5 1/4, and the card base is cut at, it's just the standard A2 5.5 scored at 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and just use my embossing buddy really quick over that. And then really try not to touch it if you can help it. I know it's kind of hard, but you just want to really get the sides of it if you're touching it. And I chose to just lay it down in the center, and then took a piece of paper towel, and then I just kind of pressed. You don't want to really rub. I mean, if you do, you can kind of do one of these things gently where you're getting that Versamark, but you don't want to move your cardstock, or you're going to smear the whole image. So that should be good. Let me get the piercing or the mat out of the way. And then you lift it over, you can see you got everything really well. And then I'm gonna, this traveled with me today to the card class, and it's kind of made a mess. It kind of leaked out of the side and everything, so it was much fuller. I need to order some more. But I'm just trying really hard not to touch the images that are on here, because if we do, it's not going to emboss. So we really want to make sure that we're getting, you know, earlier before I took this to the card class, I could kind of do one of these things and scoop it up and then run it down. But now it's kind of become impossible to do that. So I'm just going to really make sure I get my edges. And I'm going to go over it one more time around the edges, just where my fingers might have gotten it before we turn on the heat gun. Okay, I've made quite the mess. Okay, so I'm just going to lay that to the side, wipe my hands off, and clean this mess up, and I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to clean up that mess. I'm just going to turn the heat gun on really quick.
I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Yes, I am. I am in control. I am. Watch me go.
So there you guys, whoops, there goes my heat tool. There you guys can see it's all done and it looks so pretty. I just love these colors together. Let me grab my heat tool out of the garbage can. Okay, so then while we have the heat tool out and it's all heated up, we'll go ahead and grab our sentiment, and we're just going to do it on the piece of Whisper White. And like I said, it's the one that says, "May your Christmas sparkle with joy and happiness." So we just want to ink that up too. And then you're just going to stamp it right in the middle. Pull up, and it looks like somebody might have dipped my stamp in colored ink and it wasn't clean, so we'll have to see how this is going to turn out. We might have to pause it, let me clean it really good, and then come back to do it, but we'll see what it's going to look like once it's embossed. I might have to rethink taking my embossing powder to my stamp classes in this container too, because it just seems to have gotten in every crevice of the container and made a mess. I'm going to turn this on and emboss this. Okay, now we have that all sparkly, so we'll just lay that off to the side. And then we can just start putting the card together. So this is why I decided to use the fine tip glue pen, just because the pieces are so intricate, and I'm going to put them on before we put it to the card base. So I've already went ahead and die cut everything out that I'm going to need. So what I did was I did 3 of the vines in silver, and then I did 2 of them in white. You can do 3 if you want to. And then I did the white pieces in Whisper White. I did each one of the cones that are in the framelit set. And then what you can do then is I layered them on top like this. And then this one I put on this one like that. And then these 2 I just kind of put together like so. So you can just kind of, I'm going to just move those to the side first. You can kind of put it on here just randomly. I tried to like mix up the color a little bit so I didn't have white by white and too much silver by too much silver. So I like to just kind of like lay them on there and kind of get a general idea of where I'm going to want things. So something like that. I'm happy with the way that that looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab my fine tip glue pen, and I'm just gonna put just a little bit right along that vining. You can put some down on each little leaf if you want to, but I just want enough to make sure it's gonna stick on my card. And I'm just gonna kind of place it and then just kind of leave it alone. And then I think I'm gonna do the white one, and this is like the biggest of the white that I did on the Whisper White cardstock. And I'm just randomly, like I said, we just, you know, it doesn't have to be on every single one. Just want to make sure it's gonna hold it down. Just hold it there for a few seconds. And then I think I'm gonna put this one there. So just randomly, again, with the fine tip glue pen, just enough to hold it. I kind of was more focused on the top piece because that's where, as you can see, I'm kind of like layering it. So that's where I really wanted it to hold. You don't have to go too crazy with it. Once that fine tip glue pen, the glue starts holding it, you're going to be fine anyway. And then I think I'm going to take this white one. And I'm just going to move it, if I can grab a hold of it, maybe right there. And then we could put this one on here, but I think that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that. Maybe I'll put it right there. So I'm just going to drag it down just a little bit, like so. And then these, I'm just going to put just a little bit of the glue on that corner and lay that piece right there. Just kind of hold them together for a few seconds. And then just leave it laid over there to dry. And then this one you can just, whoops, don't do that, but randomly, and then lay your piece on top. It's sticking to my fingers where I have it. My fingers are sticky. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Just, it doesn't take a bunch of this, just enough to make it stick. And then I'm just going to let that go. And put the lid back on this. I like to let those set just a little bit. And while they're doing that, we'll go ahead and we'll tie our bow. And then we're using this, I forgot to mention, out of the bundle set, the glitter ribbon in the holiday catalog. And like normal, I'll have a supply list on my blog. I love this ribbon. This was the first time I used it, was making this card. And I absolutely loved the ease of tying the bows with it. It just was very easy to work with. So we'll just cut that one off, and I'm going to make this one just a little bit sharper of a V. And then I just feel like I have glitter now everywhere, or embossing powder. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a few dimensionals, and we'll just pop up our circle. Whoops, don't take the dimensional off the back. And then you can just put that down here in the corner. And then I'm going to put more dimensionals on the sentiment. I'm going to use 3. And then we're just going to put that right there in the center. And now everything should be dried pretty much where we can move it. So what I did with this, then I just kind of like laid it out before I actually put things where I wanted them. And then kind of, yep, that looks good right there. So we'll just go ahead and put, I'm going to use Tombow for this. You could use the fine tip glue pen, but I'm just going to use this for now. Just hold it down just for a few seconds, just enough for it to grab a hold of that. And then we'll put just a little bit of Tombow on the back of this one. And kind of move it over there. The same with this one. Kind of right there. And then let me grab some mini glue dots. And we'll just pop that on the back of our bow. And put it right there in the corner. Like so. Then we can take our card base, grab a little bit of our snail, do something like that. And then we can just put this right in the center, like so. And there you guys go. Cute, non-traditional Christmas card. So if you want the supply list, make sure you visit my blog. It's bobbystamps.blogspot.com. And make sure that you hit the like button if you like the video, and make sure that you subscribe so you get notifications every time I do a new video. Thanks guys, God bless.